Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Mitch's Mit친영어코칭, here to help you speak English more professionally and fluently and comfortably. So in this video, we're going to continue with our series. We've been talking about how to improve your executive presence, how to make yourself in your work or in your life when you're speaking English, how to make people see you as a leader, as a good leader. Okay, now as part of that, being a leader, another important part of that is you're going to have to manage people, okay? And probably most of you in your job, at some point, you're managing people. Maybe you're not a manager, but still you have to work together with other people. And part of that is managing people, managing their emotions, managing their workflow. You're collaborating. It's called collaboration, right? We're working together. We're trying to make something. We're trying to fix something. We're trying to do something together. That's what work is. Right? But sometimes you have to give negative feedback to a coworker or someone, maybe you're the manager, they're below you. In that case, it's not always easy. It depends on your personality. Some people are better at this than others. It's not easy for most people, though. Most people have a hard time giving negative feedback politely. Some people are good at giving negative feedback very directly, okay? And that causes problems itself. Some people, not good at all, not even politely, they just can't say anything negative. Everything's just positive, positive, positive. But that doesn't really help if you're trying to fix something, and it's not, you're trying to improve as a team. You want to improve together, okay? So as a team, I'm going to teach you some ways to give negative feedback to your coworker, to someone who works for you, your employee, maybe if you're the boss, to be able to give negative feedback positively and politely in a way that makes it seem very collaborative, like we're all together. I'm not criticizing. I'm not trying to, attack you. We're just doing this together. We're working together. We're on the same team. And so how can we improve? And there's a way to do it in English. There's some phrases that we can use that will make this kind of transition easier, okay? Giving bad news, correcting mistakes, that's really the hardest part of working together when you're in English or any language, right? That's the hardest part of collaboration. If you're too direct, you're going to hurt someone's feelings. You're going to hurt the relationship. They might think, oh, I don't like Mitch. He's always criticizing me, right? You're too direct. If you're too vague, opposite of direct means too vague. You're not really clear about saying that needs to be improved, then the work doesn't improve. Nothing happens, right? It just stays the same. So that's not good either. So I'm going to teach you in this video the cushion method, how to cushion your negative feedback so that it hits and lands softly. And the main goal, of course, is we want them to hear it, right? Because, a lot of times if you give negative feedback, people put up a defense wall. It's just natural, right? We all do it. I do it too. You put up a wall and you don't want to hear what the other person is saying. And you just immediately go to your natural reaction, which is, no, my way is best. I know best. He doesn't know. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay, that's not what we want. We want to, together, listen to each other and be able to communicate positively back and forth, even about negative things, negative feedback and criticism. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, here's a 3-step feedback loop for you. This is a 3-step process for you to do this. Step 1, the first thing you're going to do is what I'll call the positive anchor. Positive anchor. In other words, you need to set down an anchor like a ship, They have to anchor first, get situated, get stable so that you can be in a position to deliver the negative feedback in a minute, but not yet. First thing you have to do, I call it positive anchor because you're going to say something positive first. What does that mean? That means compliment. First thing you should always do is compliment the other person, right? Say, oh, I really liked the direction of that first slide. You're talking about some presentation that they made, but you're not happy with it. But first you're going to say, that first slide really was good impact. I like the direction you were going with that. It looked real good. So compliment first. You say, oh, I really like what you're doing with this part of the project. It's really that part's going really, really well. So I just want to say thank you for your work on that kind of compliment, like really something, not just making it up, you're not just making up something to make them feel better. You actually think about it before you talk to them, before you give the feedback. Sit down and think about what is it that they do that you respect. What is it that they're doing that you can compliment, that you really actually like? Because we don't want to be fake. We want to actually sincerely give them a compliment first. And that will be very impactful. And that we call it the anchor, because that's going to steady the ship. That's going to make the ship calm, the water's calm. They're ready to hear now the next step, which is step number 2, the soft transition. I say soft transition because you don't want to immediately say, but oh, I really like what you did over here, but I hate what you did over here. No, that's not a soft transition. Soft transition, we're going to smoothly and softly transition into getting to the negative feedback, the criticism part, the part that they probably don't want to hear, you don't want to say, but it needs to be said. So here's some phrases you can use to smoothly do this, okay? So you gave the compliment, you gave them some good feedback, and then you say, however, I have some reservations regarding this part. You say like, oh, I really like the direction of that first slide. That was really great. I really, really like that. However, I have some reservations regarding the data on slide 4. I feel like the data could use some work. Okay, that's a good phrase to use. However, transition, I have some reservations regarding this. Reservation means some things are holding me back from being able to approve this, right? I'm reserved. I can't quite say it's ready. Okay, so that's what that means, reservation. Very polite, soft way to say, I don't think it's ready yet. I have some reservations regarding whatever the problem is, the thing that you want to point out. That's going to be the end of that sentence, okay? Each situation will be different for that, but that's the phrase you're going to use. However, I have some reservations regarding this thing. Okay, another one you can use, try this one. I think there's room for improvement in the visual layout. I think there's room for improvement. That's a good way to say it's not done yet. It's not good enough. Don't say that, though. Don't say it's not good enough. That sounds very critical. Nobody wants to hear that. But there's room for improvement is a very good phrase, because that means, look, you're doing well. We still have some room here. We can get better. And most people think, oh, yeah, okay, I can do that. I'm able to improve. Most people want to improve, right? We want to improve. But if you say like, oh, it's not good enough, that's not very specific and it's not very positive. So people just say like, what do you know? It is good enough. Stop. Don't be so critical. But if you say there's room for improvement, that makes them think positively. Like, yeah, I think you're right. I think I can make this better. Okay, so those two phrases are phrases that you're gonna want to try to use into that soft transition into giving the negative feedback part. And if you say it like that, I promise you, it will land a lot softer. They may not like it. Nobody likes being criticized. But if you do it in the right way, people will hear it and they will usually accept it and they'll say, yeah, you know what? All right, I think I know what to do now. And then they'll get some ideas, right? Because when you hear negative feedback in a critical way, our ears kind of close and our mind we say the phrase close-minded. It means I'm blocking you. I'm blocking any ideas. I don't want to think about this. My idea's right. That's not what we want. We want open-mindedness, okay? And if you say it in the right way, the other person's going to say, oh yeah, you know what? Okay, that gives me an idea. Let me try this. And then that's synergy. Now we're working together and we're making progress. We're making something better. We're improving. That's the goal. That's what we want. Okay, and then number 3, step 3, the collaborative solution. Okay, don't just stop there. Maybe you can stop there if they really do have a good idea. They say, okay, that gives me an idea. Let me try this. Then, okay, maybe just let them go. But if they're not really thinking of anything and how can I improve this? I don't know. There's room for improvement. What can we do? Collaborative solution. That means you also join together in the solution. Don't just boss them around, Give some ideas, give some suggestions. Say, what if we try this instead? Give an alternative solution. What if we tried this instead? Do you think this would work? Or could we look at this reference for inspiration? That's always good. Find some reference for inspiration. Say, hey, why don't we look at this reference for a minute and just get some ideas, that kind of thing. Give some collaborative feedback, some response, because you're not just trying to boss them around. You don't want to be like that. You want to be in a collaborative relationship. We're a team. We're all a team. So that's the third step. Try to give some positive feedback, but don't do that first. Don't just give some ideas first. If someone does some work, you don't like it, don't just come in and say, oh, I think we could do better if we do it like this. This is the last step, because first you need to set the positive anchor, then the soft transition to talk about what the problem is, and then you can kind of offer some ideas, and they will probably be open to hearing it. But if you start with that step, nobody wants to hear your ideas right away, okay? It's a little bit too intrusive, as we say. You're pushing your ideas on them, okay? But once you get to the point where they realize, oh, wait, it's not good enough. Okay, what should we do? Then you can collaborate together. And this is a bonus tip here. Always use we instead of you when you're giving negative feedback, okay? Say, we should double check this. Don't just say, you made a mistake here. Say, let's double check this mistake. I'm not sure if this is accurate, okay? Don't just say you. Say we. It's much more collaborative, okay? Because again, this is collaboration. It's teamwork. That's what you want. That's the goal. And if you use this 3-step process to give negative feedback, the other person, in almost every case, they're going to take it well, okay? If they're professional and they're, some people are just too sensitive and, what are you going to do? But most people, they will accept it if you do it in the proper way. So follow this 3-step process. Next time you have to give negative feedback. All right, everybody, go to my website, mitchinenglishcoach.com, to get more information. You can have some one-on-one classes with me there. If you sign up for one-on-one classes with me, I can talk about these things more. I can help you practice these things, doing online video lessons together. 30 minutes classes I have. I also have 1-hour classes. You can choose whatever works for your schedule. Check it out on my website. I'll see you in the next video.